Hey, this is Sean from Team Plus and welcome back. It's been several months since we've updated the videos we're doing as we build this BMW M3 F80 for our purposes as a show car and demonstration of our capabilities and products and a bit of fun. So it has been several months, mainly things getting in the way, pesky things getting in the way like work, needing to earn some money. And I was on crutches for several weeks as well, so it didn't help. But the next thing for us to do on this car is to get it up into the air, onto jack stands. We need to get underneath it, put exhaust systems on, and then the under tray coverage components. And we'll get the wheels off, these temporary wheels that we've had rolling on it, so that we're ready to go for some proper brakes and proper wheels and tyres. But first, let me fill you in on some things that happened since the last time we filmed. We had the windscreen moved from the old chassis, the donor chassis, to this one. It was cracked in this car and a good windscreen in the other one, and we managed to successfully get that moved, which was nice. And the old chassis, everything else that was of value was removed. It was popped on a truck, sent off to metal recyclers. As you can see, we got pretty good value out of that donor car, but it was good to see it go. I was still on my crutches at this point. But back to today. Let's get this car in the air and start work underneath. Okay, car's up in the air, and the next job is to do a bit of a reconnaissance mission underneath it to have a look at how these guys go on. So I bought some cheap catless downpipes, and I've got some of the ring clamps that go on the front of it, but no idea how these things go on or how it works. The various videos on YouTube have had sort of mixed information in them, so I'll just get under there and see what I can see whether I've got all the right gaskets already in place, and see what happens. Okay, I'm here under the car, and I guess it's pretty clear where these things go. I've got a couple of O2 sensor wires hanging around down here, and there is one turbo that the downpipe goes on, and then the other one is further up in there. So it's pretty tight under here, because I can only really use these jack stands. I don't have a hoist, but it looks pretty clear how they go on. I think one of the challenges I read was and saw online was getting the O2 sensors back, cables back on, which may be why we need to access it from the top when that happens, but I'll see what I can do to get them roughly in place and then work that out. Alright, so this is the other one. Going to worm its way around into there. So we've got those front pipes on, and it has the plate there that helps align it all, gets it all straight. They're not a brilliant fit, as I've said before. And they're touching some areas, so we'll have to see how that goes. Next trick is going to be getting the main exhaust on, which is sitting over on the ground out there, and try and get it onto these pieces. But first I'm just going to do a few test fits make sure I've got the right nuts and bolts to mount this as it goes in, although there's some already sitting in place here, so I don't need to take off for the main exhaust as it goes down that way. The other thing I'm going to do, and before I get too far, is put this cable in that goes in here up into the car to be able to pull on neutral when there's no power to the car, because these are an electronic shifter on an automatic gearbox. If the power's turned off to the car, it stays in park and you can't roll the car, you can't move it anywhere. So we need some sort of manual mechanism to move this lever up to let us be able to move the car, be able to roll it on, tow it, anything, get it onto a trailer, all of those sorts of things. So that has to go on before I can put the exhaust on. Well, just easier if I do, because it's right there, and the exhaust bolt's right there, so it will be a lot easier if I do it first. Okay, sitting in the car. So the aim is going to be to put a neutral switch sort of about here. So again, I need a Bowden cable like we did with the boot release, manual boot release. I have modified the Bowden cable that comes on the recliner lounges, that came in a pack of 2, so I'm using the other one, with a change to put a little loop at the end of the cable that'll go under the car and go around the little lever that it needs to pull up to engage neutral on this gearbox. And the other end I haven't decided yet whether I'll use a sort of lever mechanism to do that there, or in fact use another one of the lounge chair recliner releases and put that somewhere in here to do the job. So we'll see how we go. But the first thing is I need to dig through this somewhere, pull some pieces off, and find somewhere to be able to get the cable down from here. The release mechanism underneath is around about, in line with the shifter, almost just in front of it. So ideally something around there, and we'll pull some panels up and see what I can find and where the cables go down already. Get it fed down from the top, connect it up in the bottom before I do the exhaust, and then I'll deal with the rest of this inside here when we do the inside. Okay, so our cable is in on this side. If we have a look, so this little clip here, that cable comes in, has a little loop around it, goes behind that clip, and so it'll run in parallel to the existing mechanism from the gearbox that can activate neutral, but this one will be able to pull it manually instead from upstairs. So that's going through there, goes through the side of the tunnel into the cabin, and we'll deal the other side of it when we get to there. But now it's time to work on getting this exhaust, the rest of this exhaust on. So this is it's all in one piece. It's got all the controllers and everything sitting on it already for the variable muffler opening on both sides, and it's all in one piece. So I've got it sitting on this dolly. It's actually the same dolly that I had the chassis sitting on, so that I can push it underneath the car here. We'll get it under there, and because I'm doing all of this on my own, hopefully that'll give me enough movability of it, because it's damn heavy, to get it onto the car. Let's have a go. Okay, with the exhaust now on, looking good, sitting there nicely in the diffuser we put on earlier. That's a big relief. I wasn't really sure how well that would go on, but it is on there now, and what we've got to do next is put on some underneath the car pieces. So there's a few bits here. So the bash plate, there's a connector plate that goes for strengthening between the two sides. One of the underbody pieces needs to go on, and there's a few to go under the front bumper and the front air dam pieces. I don't have them all, so I just need to put on bits and then discover what I've got missing. I thought it'd be good to talk about 3D printed parts. One of the things that really makes it more accessible to do customised mounts and pieces inside your home-built car, home-built track car, it's really handy. I've found it really handy to be able to do that. Now, I'm capable of doing some of that myself, but I've also found some pieces online that I've bought and used in this, going to use in this one. So the first of those is this small knacker duct style duct. Very slimline knacker duct, 3D printed from a guy in Brisbane, Australia, and it's in two pieces that comes out here, and you can have different size ends here. This is a 2-inch outlet, and this I'm going to use in the underfloor of the car to grab some air to go into the rear brake ducts. He prints them, PRP in Brisbane is what he's calling himself. And you know, they're very useful. He's got a few different sizes and a few different depths, and as I say, different size outlets that you can use. So that was a handy one, and that's something I'm definitely going to be using. Another one that goes in the same solution for me is this, which is a brake duct for the rear of the F80 F8X style rear brakes, and the idea being, again, a 2-inch inlet this time for air, and it's pre-shaped and so on to go along the interior vanes, or just along the inside edge to the vanes of the brake rotor, using existing mounting spots. And there's a left and a right version of those. There's a guy in Europe who does those, and I was very interested in that, so that was pretty interesting. So I've got a couple of those coming, one left, one right, to go into the rear braking system. So the idea will be, that's the inlet for it, and it'll run through here. I don't need massive amounts of air to the rear brakes to balance it out with the front ones I've got. So, but do need some, so that's useful. The same guy in Europe also produces some of these pieces, which really help to just mount the hose from these, in between these, to various parts. So it has some holes to be able to put cable ties in, zip ties, and good spots to be able to mount it easily on various parts of arms, suspension arms and so on, and they're useful as well. So I got a couple of those that'll go into this rear brake cooling solution. So that's the rear brake pieces. Let's have a look at what else. The next one is one that I designed myself, which is this piece here. So in the door cards, I've removed the interior door cards of the F80. So using the speaker holes, when there's 3 mounting holes for the speakers and the speaker hole mount hole, I've put in designed a piece, this piece here, which can hold the door handle for an F80. So that sits into there and then screws in, gets screwed into the back. And then the Bowden cable to open the door lever comes in from here, and then that mounts on the side, on the left hand side door in this case, passenger door for us in Australia. That mounts onto there and gives you some way to be able to use the door handle. I just bought these door handles online, AliExpress. I've done the same for the right hand side, and this one's all put together, and added a spot to put the window control panels into. If you run production cars categories in Australia, you have to be able to prove that all the window mechanisms are still in there, and they have to be able to go up and down. So it's useful to have still a control panel inside the front. So this is the right hand side. Again, uses 3 mounts through in there, one behind here, to go into the speaker hole on that door. Gives you that. and gives you the handle and gives you the control pieces. Very handy. And then the back doors, because I didn't need to have opening door handles in the back, it's got a roll cage back there, you can't sit there. I've just built basically blanking plates to go into those spots, 3D printed. So these are printed home. These are printed with high temperature plastics that actually need to be baked after you print them. You print them and then anneal them effectively in the oven to just harden. It changes the composition of the chemistry of the plastic and makes them harden, and they should be better inside the car. And they are carbon infused pieces as well, just for extra strength. So there's some pieces I did myself. I've also built some small little plugs. I don't have one here, it's on the car, that replace the rear and front parking sensors, which I didn't have in the car. So just little infills that pop into place on those. They were in the videos of when we put the rear bumper on. And we'll probably have some other little infills around some of the boot lever, some of the boot openings, some of the little lights that are not being used will all get replaced by some little infill panels like these. Just click into place. Very handy to do that, and you can print them myself, very inexpensive. Show you this one. Now this is more than just a 3D printed part. This is a 3D printed enclosure that a partner of ours, PT Motorsport in Tasmania, Australia, they are building prototypes of this device, which is a PDM, a small PDM, micro PDM to go into the car. So you can use it as supplementary. It's a 4-channel PDM, this one, and the idea being that I can run some of the controls CAN-based off my CAN controllers and CAN buttons and conditions off the dash to power things like the reverse the rain light on the back of the car, some of the electronics circuits for Team Plus pieces, and this will go into the car. But he also 3D prints these cases and can redesign at will as his design develops, and I think that's a really good use of 3D printing as well. So now comes the big one. I have also 3D designed and 3D printed this control panel unit. So this unit, I'm just trying to find a way to show it on the camera properly. Okay, so this unit here sits in the center console area of the car between the driver and passenger sides, and provides my control panel to hold some of the other pieces. So included in that, I've got a spot there for the standard BMW start button. I have a power cutoff for my power kill switches, so on and off for there. Set of CAN buttons. The Team Plus CAN gate for our tyre temperature and brake temperature management systems, and a Motec C125 and some buttons that come on the standard Motec piece go into that. And this is a 2-piece solution, so it has a front panel that, if I change something here, I go to a different model of something, a different dash, I can basically just reprint the front. And the back is a mounting solution that, I'll try and take this camera off. So the mounting solution that goes and at the moment mounts onto the air vent pieces of the F80 center console there. So that's been a very interesting little project to try and do, and you'll see it when it goes into the car when we do the interior electronics and interior control stuff. Very handy to be able to do. It has a small screw on the bottom that hold the two sides together, and that screw will also probably have a little bracket that'll go from there to mount it down further in the center console to help it manage the amount of vibration that you've got here. So this brings the whole control piece forward to more or less parallel with the steering wheel and slightly angled towards the driver's side in Australia to let you actually, when strapped into the seat, be able to reach these sort of controls and see them as ancillary controls just off to my left when driving. So yeah, 3D printing, very handy. I imagine there'll be other little pieces that I build up over time and go and design my own. But definitely worth looking at, and you'll see most of these go in the next little while. Some of these brake pieces will go in as we do the brakes fairly shortly. in this video, and then when we get to the video of the interior of the car and electronics, you'll see some of these other ones go into place. With our under tray stuff mostly in, still waiting on a few pieces, it's time to move on to something I've been looking forward to getting on, which is the front brakes. So here we are. What do we got on the picnic rug today? We've got their set of rotors, standard calipers. These rotors have had a skim. They've been sitting around for a little while, which is why they've got a little bit of surface rust on them. That'll come off as soon as they get used. But I have put I've got some new brake lines, new braided brake lines. We have some hose here, which is going to be part of our ducting. We have some outlet plates that go on replace the backing plate on the rotor, which have the cooling ducts in it, so they're ready to go. 2-inch outlets. These are the inlet pieces, and they get mated with these front inlets we've got in the headlights and sit down inside there. So if I show you on this side, these are our front 2 inlets. I've got 2 inlets in this that the previous owner had made, and you can see from the inside there's fairly good space because we don't have the headlights to be able to fiddle around, get these in through these front wheel arch liners at the right spot. We'll mark the spot and then put a hole in it to get it into there, and then they should be guided around. We'll have to look at how they fit with the various wheel fitments that I've got. We'll test with a wheel and make sure we know where to route it inside here, but it's likely to come through round about there, run along the back, probably just attach it to the top of the sway bar link there, and then come forward to the to where that plate sits. Well, let's give it a go. Okay. Now, this side of the car was missing this downlink to the this one goes between the sway bar, anti-roll bar, and the upright. So I'm just going to put that back in. Okay, that's everything connected to there. So we need to start our thinking about how we run this hose. We've got this lining in with the hose going there for the air hose to our backing plate with the brake ducting going there. We've got our rotor on, and I've got the brake hydraulic line connected at that end, all tightened up and ready to put on some calipers. On the other end, it's currently just sitting here, but it will come down out through this hole instead. Okay, so I've got the other side in as well. Same process. Got the hose in through the same spot, cut it through. Got the calipers on and rotor. I'm just about to put the brake line on. Finish that, and then we can go up to the front. Right, so at the top end here, that hose came up through here, came up through that liner there that we cut a hole in. Ultimately it will go into this larger hose, which goes into this inlet on the front here. At the moment the hose is just sitting inside it. I'm waiting on a reducer that'll sit in between here and go from the 3-inch hose to the 2-inch hose and just make that nice and neat there. As an alternate, if I do decide to use this vent for extra air into intakes and engine cooling, then this one here is actually a 2-inch inlet, but it doesn't have a big inlet area. I prefer to try and get this much bigger inlet area into the 2-inch hose to cool brakes, but if I need to, I've got this other one here. Another weekend, and this time it's time for the rear brakes. So similar thing on the picnic blanket today. There are 2 rotors. I need to grab the 2 calipers out of the box. We've got the caliper bolts, we've got the braided brake lines, hosing for the brake cooling ducting that we're putting in the back, and then the pieces we've got for this. If you saw the bit I did earlier on 3D printed pieces, these are all from that. So inlet and a NACA duct that'll go into the car somewhere, outlet that'll go against the rotor, and same on the other side, and some little brackets that hold hoses as well, and some clamps of course. So I'll grab I'll start with the right hand side, so I'll grab those pits, go around there and get the caliper, and we'll get it started. So this is the right hand rear, and this is where we'll start with the first of these rear brakes now. The first thing we'll look at is that there's a backing plate that's normally in here like this, and this is like another one I've got here that goes behind the rotor. One of the previous cars that I've used to rebuild this one of the damaged cars, has cut that off so that it still covers the shoe for the handbrake, but has removed all of its excess that went around protecting the back of the rotor. Now I don't mind that, given our new cooling duct is going to sit, have I got the right one? Yes, I have. It's going to sit in here. No, I haven't, it's the wrong side. It'll sit there and point directly on that gap there, which is basically the back of the rotor. It'll go into the back of this area here from behind and help push the air through there. So I don't mind that being gone. I'm going to try it that way, see how it goes. If that doesn't work over time, then I can replace the backing plate. So here's the correct one. That'll sit and mount into there. Using that bolt, goes underneath the nut, bolts onto there, bolts onto the same connector that holds this this sensor on. So that sits there and blows the air directly on the channel that it needs to go with. Normally the company that makes these, or the guy that makes these in Europe, he provides a little template to cut that hole in the backing plate. As I said, I'm going to try without it. It'll actually sit a little lower. It'll sit right on that edge, and I think it'll work quite well. Then our hose will come out of the back of here. We'll go along this control arm, around behind the spring, down here and under there. And under there, I'm going to put a little NACA duct to get that air ducted through there. Alright, so there's our basic brakes on. We've got the outlet for the cooling, and we've got a guide for the cooling installed. Now we've just got to get some hose and run it around and see how we go. I don't think this piece I've got here is going to be long enough. I've got another longer one, but just check this one first. See how much more we need, and decide on a routing, which I'm thinking is up the top of these. try a few different ways of routing the hoses through these arms before ending up on a final solution. Here on the other side, on the left hand side rear, and we've got this in now, so this is the 3D printed outlet, all bolted onto there, sits on top of the existing nut and bolt. That's all clamped in through, goes in through there, down underneath the arms here, and then back in to this side panel. And this side panel, we've put a little knacker duct into that little 3D printed knacker duct. I'm not sure how effective this is going to be, but I guess we've got two elements of cooling here. One, hopefully that'll give a little bit of airflow directly to the centre of the rotor coming out. But secondly, because the backing plate has been removed, it'll allow evenly for it to cool down front and back, which stops some of the warping you get with heat as well. So we'll see how it goes, and we'll be able to measure temps when I put on the Team Plus brake turtle temperature sensor, which will probably go about here and look at one of the rotors, and that'll be able to tell whether we're making a difference with these. I'll try blocking one and leaving one running so that we can see the difference, etc. Alright, time for this one to get the rotor and caliper on and the hose connected. Okay, and that's done. Rotor, caliper, brake lines, and the wheel arch liner back in. So this corner's done. So this is the 3D printed piece that I've done to take the air hose down. So from the inlet there, it goes to this 3-inch hose that'll slide into there, and 2-inch hose then goes down to the brake ducts, and just a couple of clamps, cut it down, and it's all done. So this side's done here. We can see it goes from in the inlet to the 3-inch hose, down to the 2-inch hose, and then disappears down. With our brakes all on, I've now bled them all with the help of a family member, and we're ready to put on the final pieces of the outside of this car. So a couple of things. We have the front carbon fibre guards and the aluminium oil cooler protection goes underneath the car. The final tow hook that goes in the front, and the front one will move to the back, and that's and then put on its wheels, put on the final pieces of wheel arch liner. The jack's in the way of that until I move the jack off. I can't put that on, but that'll go on, and then wheels on, and then it can go down on the ground, and it should then be able to start, move on its own power, and stop, steer, all the good things that a car can do. But let's get on with this guard. I've already done one side, and it's on there nicely. These bolt directly onto the existing holes. They're nicely made, and they seem to go directly onto the existing mount holes, a couple underneath, a couple on the front, and go on there. Because of some broken lugs and so on in this front bumper, there's some cable ties holding it together here, but that's okay. And let's do the other side. Got is this bonnet is slightly too far to the right, the whole thing, so it's got a gap here. It's got almost no gap on this side, and the alignment of the front bar is the same, so it just needs to go across 5mm. It also needs to go up a little bit in that corner. That corner align's okay, but that needs to go up a bit. It's also going to need realignment of some of these pins, but that's okay. Okay, so we're good for height now. Now we just need to change the front angle across. So I've bought this aluminium oil cooler guard. That's the oil cooler that sits down the bottom here. They're relatively easy to put on. It's a direct replacement for the plastic one that's standard. But again, trying to provide a bit of resilience for gravel traps and so on, it was important to do. The front tow bar goes in and our car underneath is all complete. All the panels are in place. Everything is good. I removed some small sections of the wheel arch liners to go with the new air vents in these carbon fibre guards, and connected the rest of the wheel arch line. And finally, our 18-inch by 10 and 18-inch by 11 race wheels with some temporary race tyres on it are put on the car to finish it off. And that's where we end this video. Our car is complete mechanically. It can start, it can drive, it has brakes, it can turn. It doesn't have any interior, so join us next time to have a look at what we do for the interior and electronics.